What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and I will be your host for the entire week. Unfortunately, Shannon could not make it. I've not flown solo in a couple of years. Usually, I either have a special guest lined up, or either Levon or Shannon or somebody. So bear with me as I learn how to do this solo sometimes. The plan going into the future is that I don't take any breaks, right? So maybe for like major holidays, I might take a break. But if I can't secure a co-host, a special guest or something like that, I still want to produce a week's worth of episodes and just build that consistency. So when you are not consistent, you lose people, right? They will unsubscribe from you. But B, in the far future, I would like to find partnerships and sponsor things of that nature that fall within the wheelhouse of our platform. So probably nothing too crazy, right? Like I'm looking for products, services, or people to partner with that want to support our platform, which is again to highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers as people of color who have made it to those C-suite and senior level positions. So if that's you, or you know someone, or you have some product that helps in some sort of way, then we would love to talk to you in the future. But again, I'm working on consistency for that. So definitely continue to tune in. So we're in season 2. I think we're in episode 9, maybe. Don't quote me on that. It'll be in the thumbnail. But so we have over 350 episodes. I love doing the podcast and sharing my experience. I love when things pop back up. So that's what came up in this week's episode. So this one is this article written on thewire.com. It is entitled "A Republican-Led Lawsuit Threatens Critical U.S. Cyber Protections." The subtitle is Three states are suing to block security rules for water facilities. If they win, it may open the floodgates for challenges to other cyber rules. See, I see what you did there. Floodgates, that's pretty clever. Like my thumbnails and subtitles are never that clever. But so in the past, we talked about how critical infrastructure needs better security. So a prime example would be the Colonial Pipeline. So during a ransomware attack that had nothing to do with their SCADA systems, they kind of had to shut down, which caused gas shortages, which caused people to go nuts and go buy gas to the point where they're filling up trash bags and wasting it in their garages and potentially causing harm to themselves. I don't think anybody was blown up or killed because of it, but you don't want a trash bag full of gas, just putting it out there. But that showed how people will panic when infrastructure is impacted, right? So another example would be Oldsmar. Oldsmar's water plant had a vulnerability where a would-be attacker was able to RDP into their system and was trying to change the levels of chemicals and potentially poison people who are using that water plant facility. I guess water table. What, I don't know. I'm not a water treatment guy. All I know is Oldsmar's not that far away from me, and I don't want to be poisoned when I go drink tap water. I'm actually closer to Zephyr Hills, so I think Zephyr Hills is like just a couple miles away. So if you ever see Zephyr Hills water in your grocery store, that comes from right down the street from where I'm at, and I don't want that attacked, right? So as to cause pain or inflict damage or cause a water shortage, and then there's no bottled water in my neighborhood because everybody's like, you can't drink the tap water, so everybody has to go buy bottled water. But I say all that to say that this kind of is a impediment, right? So we don't play a lot of politics on this podcast. We only talk about the laws and policies when they have an effect on the field or the people within the field, right? So I'm not choosing a political side, but this lawsuit is because of the Biden administration's push to tighten the cybersecurity of U.S. critical infrastructure, which has drawn its first major lawsuits, sparking a court battle that could weaken the federal government's ability to protect facilities and devices that underpin American life. So what it's basically trying to say is that this lawsuit may cause other problems when it comes to all of the policies the administration has been pushing out recently to do with cybersecurity, critical infrastructure, things of that nature. Um, I know it's also going to start to have implications in medical and other things. Um, what these three um, what is it? Three attorney generals. So Arkansas, Iowa, and Missouri are saying they're seeking to invalidate a new environmental protection agency requirement for states to assess water systems, cybersecurity practices during routine inspections, reach beyond Americans' tap water. So they're saying that it has further implications because the administration is taking executive order, right, as opposed to going through Congress to get it done. He and the administration, so President Biden administration, are kind of overreaching, is what they're trying to say. So what they're fearful of, at least if we're not talking about politics for the sake of damaging a party so that way they can't be reelected, yada yada yada. Right? I don't want to get into all that. But what they're trying to say is that um, bigger government having their hands in to policy and procedure of the public and private sector without congressional approval is a bridge too far. So now they're trying to push back on it. But in doing so, if they invalidate some of these not laws, but executive orders that were starting to go into effect, it'll have a ripple effect, right? So it can go into, okay, the administration wanted to do water plants, and then you push back on the EPA to make sure that didn't happen without congressional approval. Oh, by the way, also we had an issue with hospitals and their PII, and there's an executive order that was going through. So that one needs to be pushed back, and then so on and so forth. So it's kind of the politics is getting in the way of the protections. So I as a cybersecurity practitioner, want to make sure that there are rules and regulations, and that these rules and regulations have some kind of standard, right? So let's say, I'm just speculating, in the future, if this were to get squashed but still needs to be done, now the states get involved, right? So okay, the federal government can't make up their mind, they can't get through Congress, yada yada yada. So at the state level, let's have a New York water treatment control policy and procedure. Let's have a Hawaiian one. Let's have a Iowa one. Let's have an Arkansas one. I don't necessarily believe, like, I'm glad that people care and they want to protect their constituents and keep civilians from harm. So that way a state actor or some nefarious person doesn't attack our power grids, our water, and what have you. But I don't want 50 different states having 50 different rule sets. Like that's something, or none at all, because they can't make up their mind, right? So the balance between overreaching and creating a standard, uh, I can see an argument of being placed on both sides, but my fear is that nothing happens, and then we don't protect our critical infrastructure, or everyone has their own opinion. We have 50 different rule sets where every state has their own controls for said critical infrastructure. So what I hope happens is that this kind of plays out, and then there's some tweaks made, some concessions made. Maybe it does have to run through Congress to make it law and gospel, but there's one federal regulation that will have controls, processes, procedures at a station, all that good stuff, from a standard such as NIST, that goes into effect. So that is where I'm at with it. Like I don't necessarily care how the sausage is made. I just need you to land this plane and figure out a standard and go from there. So, but I thought it was a pretty good article. It's interesting to see how politics has ramifications on everything. That because I'm not a big politics guy, right? Like I pay attention enough, but I never really get into the more granular details. But now being on the cybersecurity side and seeing how that is the focus because of our rail systems, our water treatment plants, our power grids, so on and so forth, are so vulnerable. Now I'm starting to pay more attention to politics because as these politicians and administrations make up rules, they have very big impacts on the way I do and conduct business, as well as what I have to continue to learn, right? As the standards change, evolve, mature, or in this case, potentially splinter. I need to be aware of all that stuff as well. So I think it's pretty interesting. So if you're not into politics, I don't blame you. It's crazy, craziness out there. However, the implications can definitely impact you and your family's well-being. So definitely, peek in from time to time, see what's going on out there. But we'll continue to keep you posted on this one. I'm pretty sure it's going to be ever evolving. I can see in the next few months this kind of play out a little bit more, and then we can kind of figure out like, okay, so it is going to go through, but it just needs to go through the proper channels, quote unquote, or it's not going to go. And then now we have to figure out like, what is each state going to do? What is each municipality going to do? Will the industry be able to regulate itself? Things of that nature. So continue to tune in. Again, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Please let me know if you know someone who should be on the show. So either as a special co-host or as an interviewee, so on and so forth. So, and then stay tuned because we do have some guests in the next few weeks. Hit us up by all of our social media names, or all the social medias that go by our name, as well as hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. I'm on Twitter, Clubhouse, and LinkedIn. Stay safe, stay secure.